Listen, vision. Listen, vision. DC's #1 recording studio.
All right, welcome to the Swerv Show.
What's up, folks?
All right, it is what? March 6th? March 6th.
Yes, sir.
It's March 6th.
All right, okay.
It's March 6th, yeah.
Well, anyway.
I was fixing my...
savings coming up.
Is it? Oh, I forgot about that. Well, y'all, we got a guest in the house, and we're gonna talk about him because he's got a tight schedule. This is the one and only Tamim West, the poet, scholar,
rapper,
educator, songwriter. What else do you do?
He raps.
What else? You're an activist.
He don't like rap music, so
he raps.
I know. I said rapper. Didn't I say rapper?
No, you didn't.
No, you didn't. You
No,
skipped over
you didn't.
rapper.
You
He's a
skipped over that.
poet. He's a poet, and a musician, and
you
he
can say
sings.
lyricist.
Lyricist.
He's a lyricist.
I love lyricists, and I like some rap music. Don't put it like anyway. So
You're
Tamim is in
impartial.
town promoting. What brings you to town anyway? Speaking to the mic.
So I'm here. I was met with a few partners of the organization I work with through Teach for America.
Okay.
So I met with Ellen Kahn over at HRC.
Oh, Ellen, I know
today.
Ellen.
Yeah,
Ellen
Ellen's
used to
good
run
people.
LSP
Talked
at Whitney
about
Walker.
the Time to Thrive conference that just happened, and then I'm meeting with Earl tomorrow.
Earl Folks?
Earl Folks from Center
Wow.
for Black Equity.
Are you going to be doing something with Center for Black Equity?
Well, I do Cincinnati Black Pride, and that's who.
We're going to talk about that.
Awesome.
All right.
Right
all
on
right.
time then.
All right. Well, real quick, I want to say hi to my co-host.
Yes,
here, Tony.
please, say hi.
Hi, Tony Nelson.
Hello.
This beautiful shirt.
Hi,
Thank
Tony.
Ain't
you.
your day in a while.
What's up, folks? What's up?
All right. Well, real quick, I want to debut the cover for the March-April issue. Do we
I
have that,
can't
Jacob?
wait.
Kadal.
Come
the
on,
one and
Shaka.
only Shaka Khan.
Come on, Shaka.
I was going to do that too. Shaka's got a new album out, y'all. It's called Hello Happiness. And it's a slight departure from her typical stuff, but it's still very soulful. It's got a whole UK sort of techno thing to it. So check it out. And it's real good coverage. Another piece on this is we got a great piece on the Black LGBT Greek letter organizations that Lawrence Evans wrote, L-Train. So.
What is that right there?
And then we've got Spotlight with Tony Nelson featuring Amelia Black.
Yes,
Amelia
Yes, all
Black.
Yes, and I announced Spotlight at the X-Racing show
you did?
today,
All right.
and I told them that my next guest was, and everybody started clapping real
Really?
hard. Oh yeah.
Did Racine let you talk? She let you say that?
They gave me the whole microphone.
Oh, they
Soon-
gave you the mic. Oh,
They gave me the. Well, she didn't, but
I'm sure she was standing there like this, rubbing your back.
I got chopped when I started talking too much. I got chopped.
Ooh, Racine, when you're not here, we talk about you. Anyway, okay. So anyway, so my friend Tamim, since he's Russian, and I don't want to miss him, he is involved in so many things, but he's got a hot new project out. Is it still new?
It's still pretty new. It's a different kind of project because it's an anthology.
Right.
So there are a few new tracks on there that I've done since I moved to Cincinnati in 2017. But most of it, I think when you're an independent artist, your stuff is always new to somebody. And I have to always remember that for a lot of people that don't listen to independent or conscious hip hop, my stuff is really new. And so I decided with this project, it's called Prodigal Son, because I moved back to Cincinnati where I'm from originally.
I don't know why I kept thinking you were from Arkansas.
Because I grew up in Arkansas.
Oh, okay.
But when
There you have it.
Timim is a native of Arkansas. I'm like, actually, that's not true.
Gotcha.
I was born in Cincinnati. We moved to Arkansas when I was young. I did all my schooling there. So I claim both states, and you hear a lot about Cincinnati and Arkansas on my work. But I think what was interesting about the anthology is it's 6 albums, about 20 years of music.
6 albums, 20 years of music.
People like yourself that don't like a whole lot of rap will probably appreciate it.
I'm not going to let this sit on record.
It's okay, but I think what a lot of people like about my music is that I do a lot of singing in addition to the rap, and so for people that are not like hardcore hip hop folk, they can it's like listening to a neo soul album with some hip hop.
Very much
on
so.
it. Yeah, I think
Well,
I think you heard my
it's
stuff.
very
in the first
neo
time.
soul,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And the thing about you as a rap artist is a lot of the rap artists don't translate live in terms of their performance, the pitch and the tone and all that stuff. It just sounds very noisy. But with you, it's still right. It still has a heavy musical element to it.
Oh,
to
absolutely.
me.
I mean,
Right.
I believe in hip hop music.
I love the artwork. Can you bring Jacob? Can you bring?
Can we show that?
That's
The
I love
Prodigal
that.
Son, the
I love it.
anthology.
Yeah,
I
so
love
that,
the artistry.
That captures. That's actually me in Cincinnati as a little toddler. And then the 6 albums that I've
I
done
see
solo
it.
projects are reflected.
Red
on
Dirt
that.
is my favorite. Anyway,
Awesome. If your favorite CD,
Yeah,
that's the most experimental one.
that's because that
Had
had a
lot of
variety.
house music.
Why
and-
don't we show the video for Shoes, and then
let's
we'll talk
do it.
about that. Let's run that, Jacob. Do we have that?
This ain't no oppression Olympics, but you trying it. Try to minimize what I've been through, I ain't feeling it. You want a final answer for a trick question. I ain't got no Smith & Wesson, no smoking guns, just some life lessons. Born with an intuition many moons before me. Got that generational knowledge in my bloodstream. Crossed many rivers by spirit of breath before me. So you bore me, you're very toxic, it annoys me. I employ most rappers to do better. Upgrade the grade, flip that logic, get them letters. Sharpen the cheddar till it bites and put a little more time into that scratch pad, that keyboard, and actually pick up a pen and write. So what's that gay stuff up my sleeve? A rainbow library, a very educated, petty, subtle read. Just try to titillate that brain space. Take you down a neurological wormhole without a very straight face. Cause joy is how I fight the nightmares. The weight of pain that debilitates when it seems that nobody cares. My word plays a tango between ballet and a breakdancer. I'm still here, my final answer. Cause you ain't walked a mile in my shoes. So you can't judge my life. See my blues. I really don't have the time to prove no point to you. Prove no point to you. This is my truth. Never claim to be the best rapper, but I hold my own. Got 10 rap projects behind me, 6 of those alone. Never paper chaser into the rap race to compromise my values. The boom bap, the backdrop, and poetry my muse. Albums probably go aluminum, so ain't got a thing to lose. A few times I almost lost it all, so they had the right to choose my life, the way that I write, my destiny, even my plight. All the miles that I walk, as much as you stalk, don't ever make you right. Demean me cause I'm gay, what's the meaning of your angst? What's that picture that you paint? I'm that easel you can't break, so you'll never see me aim to walk in another zone. Like cover my ears with all your nonsense, blah 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 blah. Lame, like Prince, I'll be unbothered singing, baby, I'm a star. Since you walked a mile in my shoes, then tell me who you are. Since you walked a mile in my shoes, then tell me who you are. Cause you ain't walked a mile in my shoes, so you can't judge my life. See my blues, I really don't have the time to prove no point to you. Prove no point to you. This is my truth.
All right. That was Tim West, y'all. That was a sample, and that is the
Talking about my old way.
what?
Voguing
Yeah, we
old,
were talking about his Owe Vogue.
Yeah,
Vogue.
we were checking you out with your moves.
old way.
Who choreographed that?
Well, I
video?
Precision.
think this it may be the first instance, if I'm breaking a record, of a hip hop artist. Well, probably not voguing, because I'm sure there have been other voguing rappers. Maybe
don't
not.
know
I don't know.
about that.
There's something to look up.
There's
but
something with the Cakes the Killer, doesn't she rap?
I would think that Cakes the Killer or probably Leaf or some Mickey Blanco probably also vogue.
in between the N and the B word, they sneak in a few dance moves.
Between
Between the what words?
The N and the B word.
But I think what's interesting
littered
is-
throughout their whole stuff, which is why we don't play them.
But a
I'm
lot
sorry.
of them, I think that sense of hip hop history is lost. I think one of the biggest tributes of late was somebody sent me an article from biography.com, and there was an article that was done on the unsung heroes of hip hop.
Oh.
And Kool Herc was there.
Oh, wow.
And Cool G Rap, and I was there.
Wow.
And so I was
Really?
like, oh, okay.
He was like, okay, I'm here for it.
Okay,
Where's
I've been
my
doing
check
something.
along
That's
with this?
it, right?
So how do you feel about being, labeled sort of a gay or same gender loving rapper? Does it sort of segment you differently? Because you've been in the game for a while.
I've been in the game for a while. I think, my rap group, The Collective, came out at a time when there was an article I think Wendy Williams helped me spread this at the time, called like Confessions of a Gay Rapper. And everybody was wondering who the gay rapper was.
She was trying to out Diddy and all that.
And for those of us who've been doing hip hop for much of our life, we felt that was kind of insulting. Like what do you mean, who is the gay rapper? Of course they're gay rappers. And so, we decided to actually come together and start a movement because we knew that there've always been LGBT folk in hip hop music, but no one was really talking about it. So it's kind of, when there are people that listen to my music and say it's not gay enough because all my topics and content are not, I don't wake up every day and go gay, 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 like I'm gay, gay. Like,
You don't? I do.
And it's okay.
I wake up and tiptoe to tulips. It's terrible.
Naturally, inherently, you can't help it.
Naturally, float through the tulips.
They call me the old queen.
And I
do it the old way.
And I think that's the thing about our community. There's so many ways we show up in
Right.
Amen.
And I think for me, because I grew up a kid who was very masculine identified, but didn't see myself reflected in gay culture, it was always like I was like, I want young people that are more, masculine identified to know that they can be who they are and still be comfortable in their skin and still be advocates for our trans sisters and pro feminists and all that other stuff. And that gender expression, the way I express my gender, doesn't say anything about my politics.
Exactly, it's your humanity, right?
Yeah,
I mean, and what's with all the labels?
But but if you don't see that, if you don't see a black man showing up that way, which I think
that's true.
When I taught here in D.C., that was the most powerful thing about my teaching because I also coach basketball.
Well, let's talk about your role as an educator. You work with Teach for America, and if I'm not mistaken, you were leading their LGBT sort of initiative.
I still do. It's actually in the 5th year of leading the LGBTQ initiative at Teach for America, and it's work that I'm proud to do because I personally had a suicide attempt when I was in high school.
Oh, wow.
As a 16-year-old, and I didn't have anybody as a 16-year-old kid who I could talk to about what was going on with me. And you look at, now there's still kids that are contemplating and attempting suicide in 2019.
You're kidding me? Are you saying that the schools are not?
Oh, it's
they're
awful.
not prepared to engage.
I think it's
at that level?
I think it's gotten better, but I think when you're talking young people and sexuality, there's still a lot of places that don't want to touch.
And I also think that when you start having those conversations, you also have to think about where you're located. See,
Absolutely.
sometimes
location.
we live in DC.
Oh, yeah, we're in a bubble in DC.
We live in a bubble.
DC has a lot.
Right.
Of support.
Like we have a plethora of stuff
Or
here.
New York.
Exactly.
New York has
But when
the
you-
Harvey Milk. They have gay schools for same.
when you're
Yeah.
going
kids.
to West Bamvak, North Carolina,
Right.
like in the sticks somewhere, where
Well, and a lot of people don't realize it is legal to fire a teacher for being
gay. Yeah. Well,
You can't.
serious?
Yeah. There's
sure
a
it is.
teacher in Texas that got fired because she had a picture of her wife on her desk,
in Texas,
and it's legal. Like,
My mom lives in, she lives outside of Charleston, and she was just telling me yesterday that she said, they were having the drag queen read the
Yes.
books
Oh,
yes, the
library.
drag
I love it.
And I said, they do that in D.C. She said, that's what you told me. And she said, but, people turned out and protested the drag. And I said, well, how did you feel? She said, well, if you don't want your child to be read a drag queen with your child, just don't take your child. She said, but
Stay home,
just stay
right.
home. But yeah, so and that's something that is like old school here and in like New York and places like that. So
Right.
it is a
We
bubble.
are-
they
little
should be
spoiled.
happy someone is reading to their children. Like,
That's what she was saying. She said, at least somebody trying to read to the child.
right. I mean, that's silliness.
So Nathaniel said it's not just the sticks in North Carolina; it's crazy. Period in North Carolina, because Nathaniel lives in North Carolina, so that's why he made that comment.
And I think it's a misnomer to just say it's the South and the small places, because even though as progressive as New York and DC are, there are still things that happen to kids in schools.
Yeah, their pockets. Yeah.
But I think the difference is you have those legal protections,
Right.
and you have recourse if something were to happen. You can actually. So that's my work. I work with a lot of organizations across the board to try to. I could have a difference in a classroom with 30, 40 students at a time, but at a certain point, I wanted to impact the entire system.
Right,
Right. How do you change the laws and the policies nationally?
So it's an advocacy element. to
Absolutely,
it.
and I work
Okay.
across 51 different U.S. regions, helping people come together and figure out how can we make these schools, because I don't care what your belief system is. You can't tell me that that you should not be teaching if you believe it's okay for your kid to be bullied, ridiculed, picked on, and that kid is not going to succeed academically if they don't feel safe in the classroom.
It's not going to succeed academically.
I often have to say that. Like, put that aside. When I taught in Texas, and there were kids in a very conservative suburb where I was teaching that were very anti-gay marriage, and I had to help them write their papers.
Oh wow!
I had to help them write the most powerful, coherent argument that they could. Now, I made sure that they considered the other side of the argument. I tried to expose them to different viewpoints.
Were you out to them?
I was not out to them because the principal at that school told me that if I came out, I wouldn't be able to teach there.
Oh wow!
So that's Texas.
Is this
for you.
2019?
Yeah, well, yeah.
But I was the loudest, biggest mouth ally they had ever seen.
Right.
And I think some of the students figured it out, and quite interestingly, a few of them probably changed their perspective because they just hadn't had exposure.
Right.
Well, it's interesting.
The otherized
it's interesting that you would say that. There was Forrest Whitaker said in an interview with Oprah after The Butler, they were doing the promotions for The Butler, and he said, one beautiful thing about The Butler is it reminds you that sometimes your presence is the protest. And he talked about in The Butler the juxtaposition of the father who was the butler in the White House versus his son who was walking in the streets protesting. And he said that it was the combination of the two. It was the simple fact that this butler, who the president saw every single day, made this black man human. And to know his son was marching, it was the combination of the two. And so sometimes your presence is the protest. And I never forgot that quote. And it made me think of what you said. Sometimes you just showing up can change your perspective.
Right.
Sure.
Because sometimes we have these ideas about what things are until we encounter them and realize it's not.
That's true.
As much as we
and
think
I think
it
in
is.
some of our bubbles we forget that, like, you can't go to whatever county in South Carolina, sometimes waving your rainbow flag through the school. It's just not the way they do things.
It's just not acceptable.
And so you have to find that balance between having a respect for the culture and the way they do things and just showing up. I have teachers who worked in schools where if you would ask them on the first day, are they for having a gay straight alliance or something like that, they would have said no. But you know what? That teacher went in, showed that they were a strong teacher, that they were good at their craft, and that the students loved them. And at the point when they did come out, it wasn't an issue because that person became human.
Right.
If you show up on the first day waving the rainbow flag, talking about, I'm going to change all the laws.
You'll be like,
It's just, I think there's just a way we have to think about it. There are different ways to do this work.
Right. You can't always be the disruptor.
Right.
That's what you're saying.
And sometimes I think that people forget that change sometimes is a process.
Sure.
And it doesn't happen overnight. Rome wasn't built in a day.
Right.
And so sometimes, again, it's the presence, it's the protests that show up. It's the beginning. It's the beginning of changing a perspective just by showing up. And understanding that today I may be the seed, tomorrow somebody's going to be the soil, somebody else is going to be the sun, and somebody else is going to be the water. And eventually, a change will grow.
But it's a little surprising to me, given the culture, given like the external pop culture, how open it is.
But
TV.
That's what makes it even more dangerous and
Right.
difficult right now because kids now are growing up where they have an Ellen and some of them have seen a Noah's Ark and there are all of these things in the culture that say it's okay to be gay, but you still got to go home to homophobic mom from whatever church
Who didn't want you watching that stuff?
who doesn't want you watching it. You're sneaking and watching.
Right.
So kids have more access and exposure to those cultures, but at the same time, a lot of their parents have
But it's
not
like you're
yet.
trapped in a closet. Like you're trapped because you know that there's a bigger world out there, but I can't touch it.
And
I
sometimes-
know it's there.
And sometimes I think some of that stuff, some of the pop culture, I personally believe there are backlashes to it, and you kind of you kind of see, even like with RuPaul's Drag Race, when you kind of, just for me, hosting shows and drag shows in the city, I think like that pop culture of phenomenon of that show kind of almost killed the local drag scenes in
Really?
cities.
Oh,
a little bit.
absolutely.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
but that,
Absolutely.
but did it take? I mean, but did it? Did it just offer them another option that they can now consume it?
Well, it took
Well,
it
but
took
it-
a lot of the mystery out of the
And-
whole.
and-
For me, in my opinion, it took a lot of mystery. But speaking of drags, real quick, I just got to say this real quick. I saw join the show one of my idols, Rough and Stuff from Chicago.
I love Rough and Stuff.
Is
Hey.
online, and I want to
Rough
say
and
Rough and
Stuff.
Hey,
we
Rough and
love
Stuff.
Rough and
Yes.
Stuff.
Well, we got 4 minutes before he
But I do
leaves.
want I do want to jump on this real quick in reference to the RuPaul Drag Race. I think that also too that it has made a lot of the new girls who just start think that it's a microwave situation,
Right.
not understanding that it takes time.
It takes time.
to hone.
Yes.
It's a craft.
Right.
It's not just something that you just play and drag.
What I was going to say, I think the analogy too is if you look at how many high school basketball players want to go to the NBA.
Right.
It's now become this thing where everybody wants to be that's the marker of success.
right.
And they're starting to realize it's like really stiff competition out there.
It's really
So-
stiff competition. Yes.
1.1%, something like that,
Yeah,
0.01%.
something like that.
Anyway, before you leave, I wanted to make sure we talk about Cincinnati Black Pride.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Tell us about that initiative.
I think we're one of 19. I moved back to Cincinnati because, as you know, I'd lived in New York and the Bay Area,
You lived
Atlanta,
everywhere.
D.C., Chicago, and being originally from Cincinnati, I wanted to go to a place in my mid 40s where I could see myself having an impact. Cincinnati is a city that's 46% black.
I didn't know that.
We did not have a Black Pride. It's
Ever?
we have, I think there was one. The last one we had was in 2009. And they call it the southernmost city in the north and the northernmost city in the south.
And I think do we have a slide
We
for
have a slide.
Cincinnati Black Pride? Ta-da.
Yeah.
June
Beautiful city.
19th through the
Yes,
23rd.
beautiful
Let's go.
city.
Should we go? Should we
You
come down?
should
We
all
coming.
come down. It's going to be great. We're going to
Cincinnati
have
got good
Dow
chili.
Stevens is going to be there with Samson McCormick because we're
Okay.
showing
Love
their
Samson.
new film.
Are you booking us? Is that a booking
Yeah.
arrangement?
Uh,
We'll
we
come
should-
down.
Yeah.
I'll
I think
send
it
you
would be
our
great.
rider.
We should
We'll
have
see-
a swerve party.
You got
think
this-
We should do that.
We
Let's
really
do it.
should
Let's
have
do
a swerve party at
You got,
Cincinnati
you
Black
got
Pride.
a great MC sitting right next to you. I don't
Yes.
see why I'm not booked already. Ha! Let me send you
Be
my
awesome.
rider.
Yes, please send your rider. That includes us. And it's like similar to Grace Jones.
But
we
you know,
need 30 of
one of
something.
the things I'll say about Cincinnati Black Pride, which is a statement about Black Pride in general, when I was at the first Black Pride here in D.C.
Right.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
back when it was smaller, you had the film festivals and you had the political conversations
party
and
now.
whatever. And now things have kind of devolved to the point where it's all a bunch of big promoters and parties. Cincinnati's Pride is a lot more like DC's Pride
Well,
in the beginning.
I have a theory on that, and I'm going to keep that to myself.
You might want to
Yeah.
keep it to yourself.
Right,
Don't get
because-
yourself
Yeah.
in trouble.
Well,
Yeah.
because there's been a
capitalism.
void. There's been a void. If you don't encourage and push out those things and promote those things and really sell it, the promoters have started selling their tickets in
Oh, yeah.
December.
Yeah.
And I still don't know what the theme is.
Oh no, they
what
just
the
they
panels
just
are.
released the theme last week.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So I mean,
But I
squeaky wheel
think,
gets the
but
oil.
for me, it's called Pride for a reason, and I don't knock parties because we have a lot of parties in
Right.
Cincinnati. Don't get me wrong.
And I make a
but
lot
I
of
think
money
what-
off those
What
parties.
it is,
Please
So
do
don't-
not knock those parties.
we try to make sure it's balanced. If you want to come
Right.
and have your party,
Yeah.
you have that. But we have film festivals, we have political
But
conversations.
we still have
we
film festivals here, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, even it's and the thing about DC, it's a competitive market. There's so much for us to do here,
Right.
And you really have to create something compelling and hit people upside the head with
Yeah.
it.
Right.
Yeah.
So in smaller markets,
Come check it
it
out.
may be the only thing that going on at that time.
Right.
So anyway,
Right.
well, I mean, it's 10:20. It's almost.
I'm
okay.
staying
Are you
because
gonna
y'all got
stay?
a couple
Okay,
other people to
all
talk
right,
about,
all right.
and my friend David Clemens.
Well, let's talk about that.
and-
Come
and
on. We're gonna talk
that's-
about David.
that's my friend.
David Clemens is running for Memphis City Council.
Yes.
Yes.
And for those of you who don't know, Damon and his mother publish a magazine called The Unleashed Voice.
Unleashed Voice.
So
Yeah.
out of
Wow.
Memphis. So
Yes.
those are our publishing partners.
Oh,
so we want to
that's
wish
him.
him.
Oh, I did not
Yes,
know
that's
that.
him.
And we got to send him some money, y'all, because it takes money to win an election.
It
We're
So,
going to send him some money.
so go
And
to his site.
he's a powerful voice. I don't know if people know that about him. He was it's
Police
still on a
officer.
police
He's a
officer,
minister.
A minister.
Oh, wow.
Just got his doctorate, I believe.
Really?
Yeah. He's
Is
doing.
he a reverend doctor or is he
I don't
like a?
know
Is he a
about the
straight man or a
particulars
gay
of
man?
that.
No,
No,
he's
he's
married. He's
His-
married.
His husband's a really wonderful minister there.
I didn't want to assume.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
right.
But I mean, I think that's really powerful, especially in a city like Memphis. And he actually came and was on a panel at one of the education conferences
cool.
I
Oh,
did.
really?
So just a lot
Yeah,
of love and
I
respect.
love David. Now I always say the name wrong. So it's David?
Yes.
David.
I say Davin, but it's David, okay?
I think I have to remember because I'm inclined to say Davin, but it's
Davin. I was thinking Davin.
So
So
David, we're gonna send you
David,
some money,
Davin,
listen.
whichever one we got wrong, please forgive us.
All right.
We love
so
you.
we're going to send him some love. So then the other thing real quick, so Brazil has elected its first black
Yes.
trans state representative. Oh, where's the rest of it? Lord, where's the rest of it?
You left the whole article.
I sure did. But her name is Erica
Yes.
Malone.
Beautiful.
Piano.
Beautiful.
Do you know her? Have you met her before?
I've not met her, but I've
She's
been
powerful.
following this story. Just powerful, and also if people aren't aware of this, Brazil has its own version of 45.
Oh yeah, Brazil just elected a
They said
very
they said
conservative-
he's worse. He
Yeah.
could be worse.
They-
yeah,
yeah,
it's pretty
yeah,
scary.
And they
Hello, Dore.
And I understand that there was an assassination of
Yes.
a progressive elected official
Absolutely.
recently who was black, was black in nature. I mean, in her heritage, and she was advocating for more rights for black and marginalized people in their country. But anyway, so we want to send some love, and we're going to do something special on Erica,
Yeah, we
probably
should.
in an upcoming issue. So,
We really should.
So congratulations,
Yes,
and
yes,
she's
yes,
there
yes,
for the fight. Then the other is Jussie Smollett. So, I mean, this case is just going on and on.
Is it still going on?
Yeah, I don't know. What are y'all thoughts? I mean,
Can
I
I-
still think there's more to
There's
this
a
whole
lot- there's
issue.
a lot more.
And I'm starting to lean towards the fact that those two guys set him up.
I have said this. I've said
I
this.
believe they did.
I think they set him up.
I said so when we first talked about this a couple
well,
of
you
weeks
did.
ago. I said, yeah, well, anyway. Long story short, I have since we've gone through
You
this
did.
process, I've kind of held my comments because I'm waiting to see.
Right,
Again,
yeah.
like I said before, I had concerns that there were leaks coming from
Oh, the police
Chicago
department.
PD, and of all PDs, Chicago.
It's not to be trusted.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but I have this heavy feeling, and I could be wrong, but I truly believe, and I just posted a video on my Facebook page. I believe that Lee Daniels is behind it,
Oh,
or he has
allegedly.
or he has
Allegedly.
I said I
Well,
believe.
I'm not going to go that far.
I believe this is an I statement.
Okay.
I believe that I think that Lee Daniels has a hand somewhere in the midst.
It's just something that nothing about this thing makes
Sense.
any sense.
None of it.
Whatsoever. And I'm not one of these people that just believe just to ride or die with somebody because they're a celebrity.
Right.
But
Right.
this particular story, and like I said, I'm going to say this. I have met Jussie Smollett, and
Yeah, I've
I
met him
will,
too.
and
Yeah.
I will be the first one to say he's a full dose. I mean, a full.
What do you mean by full dose?
Just what I said.
A full dose.
A full dose. I mean,
Well,
he's-
I met him before the
He's
start.
a whole lot. He's high energy. He's high
Okay.
energy.
Well, he's an artist, so.
Well, I mean, he's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
He's a lot. But with that said, there's something about this whole thing that really doesn't make any sense.
It don't fit
It
right.
doesn't. It doesn't fit.
Right.
It does not fit. And I think that there's so many more pieces to it. But even with that said, I said it before and I said it again. And someone said, "Oh, I think there's different degrees of lies." No, they're not. People, even if he did lie, no one got hurt. I don't believe this was this was going to be the
Right.
start of a race riot.
Right.
People just take things too
Well,
far.
But he still vehemently
And I don't
vehemently
believe- I bel-
says
there's
that he was attacked and that they put a noose around
But
him.
what I'm saying is, if he did lie, people need to just stop and just think. You don't lie on
lied.
your application.
You
don't
have
lie
lied.
to get that job. And when you do lie, you're lying to advance your own
Personal agenda.
Right.
You have lied to get them food stamps. You have done something.
I've never lied.
Everybody at some point before they got saved has lied at some point. So
If they got
so
saved.
people need to back up for a second.
Right.
And just kind of let this thing play
But
out.
it just seems-
I think what was upsetting for a lot of people was that there are a lot of
Right.
victims of like gay bashing
Sure,
and
sure,
violence,
sure.
and so the idea that it became trivialized. I was personally bothered by the way some people seem to find a certain pleasure
out of it.
in the gossiping about it, because I'm like, there's nothing to me
And,
funny about it.
and I will say,
It's
either
nothing
way it
funny
goes,
about it.
there's
It's nothing funny about it. And one
and
other
some
thing.
people had a vested interest in it. It seemed like, like Milan Christopher came out very vehemently, and saying, "Oh, I don't believe this," right off the bat. And I thought,
Give him a break.
What's your stake in this?
But here's the thing that gets me is it's just it shows you just how fickle. There's a saying my father used to tell me all the time: take nothing that people say to you personally, whether or not it's an insult or a compliment, because the people that compliment you today will insult you tomorrow when you're not doing what they say to do.
When we compliment you, we really mean.
And I don't believe you. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just saying, don't take it, but you don't take it too far, because the second you're not doing something that serves your interest, most people will turn on you. And if you watch and see just how quick every people,
and that's, you know what, that's the thing that's really dangerous about it, because the reality is that for me, I just felt like some of the most ridiculous criticisms were coming from people in the LGBT community.
Yes.
And my thing was like, if you were actually beaten up on your street at 2 a.m. on your way walking home, the reality is that people, what hit me was like, people are gonna automatically assume, well, what were you doing out at 2? And what about this? And what about that? And I'm like, we need to be in a space where I think it's important to believe victims when they.
It's important to believe victims, but it's also, but it's okay.
It's healthy to ask questions,
and it's okay. And it's okay that I'm not reading people who had doubts. It's okay to have doubts, and it's okay if you wanted people to say you don't believe it. I'm saying these people who are throwing him to the wolves,
right.
And he hasn't even been tried. Yes. Nothing's happened.
I think if it would have happened to them, those same doubts would be there. And I just think people, for me, it was like, if that was me, I would want people to have at least as much grace as possible. I mean, even things like, what was he doing at 2 a.m. getting Subway? I've done that.
We all do that, right?
That's not ridiculous.
Maybe he was looking.
And they were like, he was on Jacked and looking for. I'm like,
and if he was,
I thought that
Smiley doesn't have to be on Jack.
Well, but if he was,
but he has admitted that he does do Jack.
Being on Jack is very, very popular.
So those things, I mean, you know what I mean?
I mean, he's human. If he was,
one thing that I thought was quite interesting was this check, like. If you are gonna set something up like this, why would
you be that stupid?
Why would you?
I don't believe he's that stupid.
Right, to write a check to these guys.
But
he wrote the check for fitness.
For fitness. That's my point.
What the police
not
said,
to like I write a check to.
And that's why I think those guys set him up.
Well, the thing that really,
I think they set him up.
Well, the thing that really bothers me is that the police did not. They was laying out everything doing this thing, and they said, and he wrote a check, but they did not say. They did not say on this check. It was very misleading. They did not say on this check. It said fitness. So they
goes guys back, are actually trainers, and there's a whole thing about every. It was all
which goes back to what I said before. I had concerns that all of the information that was leaked, because I watched it unravel on CNN. Where they would be like, we have sources from the Chicago PD.
Right. But this is my other question. Why? Where did the police come up with the motive being that he needed more money? He wanted more money.
Yeah, where did that come from?
It was just weird.
I mean, what investigation unearth that truth?
I'm not going to say. I'm not going to hashtag really for justice for Jussie or nothing like that. But I am going to say that I'm going to reserve.
That's what I
don't know what's going on.
And that's what I've said. I personally not taken a side on my Facebook page. I have said consistently, I'm waiting. Just waiting to see all of the evidence. Dominic has been going off. I've been reading your comments, Dominic, and you are entitled to your opinion. Nobody's beating you up for that.
There's still so many unanswered questions.
I just have questions.
Yes. Anyway,
on both sides. Actually, I have.
Well, we're gonna keep it moving.
We want to say hello to Dore Saunders.
Dore, congratulations
on your win.
Tim's gotta go. We're gonna say goodbye. Bye,
all right.
friend. Good seeing
love you, Timo.
We'll come down.
I love DC. They call DC default city because they say I always move back.
That's right.
And we welcome you back.
I love
Cincinnati. We're gonna come down.
visit.
We want to come down for Pride. Can you fly us down? We'll send you our accommodations.
So DeRay is on. DeRay Saunders, we want to tell you
Hey,
a
DeRay.
big, huge
Thank you,
congratulations on capturing the title of Miss Sweetheart International.
Okay.
DeRay is one of the showgirls
Yes.
of the world, for
Hey,
sure.
y'all know I don't know that, but I
She's
can't
a
wait to see her.
legend.
Okay, all right.
She's a
Legendary.
legend. She's a former Miss Black National Plus.
Oh, all right.
She,
So many
you know,
things.
she a former Miss Queen of Hearts. A former.
wow.
She's a former a whole bunch of stuff.
Tony,
DeRay,
are
we
you
love
a
you.
former anything?
I'm still the current reigning for
Miss-
10 years running.
Miss What the Fuck.
Don't please. I'm not.
I want to run for that title. Can I run for that title?
If you dare, if you dare,
I still got a beard. I want to run for that
If
title.
you dare.
I want to contest that title.
not
Anyway.
former, current reigning.
The
10
current
years.
rating.
Oh, y'all, stop it! I can't take no more. Okay, all right, let's keep it moving. So, thank you, Tamim, and we'll post info on his project. So, Tamim's great, and he's involved in so much stuff. So, congratulations. Anyway, so what's hot? We're gonna go to that real quick. So,
Oh,
we've
Michael,
got
we'll mention that. Go ahead.
Power 30 on March 23rd.
Yes, here in Washington,
In
D.C.
DC, you know, DC is the gay capital of the country. yo.
Yes.
Y'all- If you're not here, then I don't know why you're not here.
I want to say that we are extremely proud to say,
Tammy PA.
well, beyond Tammy, we love you, Tammy, and T.S. Madison. We are
T.S.
extremely
Madison.
proud to say that our publisher of Swerve Magazine, Jamil Fletcher, this man right
I'm
here.
being honored.
Yes,
Can you
he will
believe
be
it?
honored at this event. I am
I'm
super
1 in 30.
excited.
This is our year. We've been honored all over.
Okay,
the place.
10 years, we done made it, baby. Yes,
I'm
God.
still looking in the. I've been still looking in the envelopes. I'm like, oh, is the check in here? Is that what it is?
Are you getting an honor that night?
Yes,
Yes, we've been
he's one of the
honored.
30s this
Yes,
year.
yes.
Wow.
I can't wait. It's interesting. They didn't ask for our bio, so I was like,
We had to write out.
how many
last
minutes
year.
do I need? I mean, because I can put a poem together. I want to cry a little bit.
You wanna
What-
cry?
I thought they were going to do it a little different this year.
We
you
are
gonna
gonna do it
speak?
different.
You're not going to speak.
I don't
are
think
you?
we're gonna speak.
No, last year we spoke. And
I'm just gonna run up and grab the mic.
The year that Racine got it, did she speak?
Racine and I both got it the same year.
Oh.
Me, Racine, and
How many
I know
people?
that-
Was it 30
How long was that
people?
speech?
Was it 30
30
people?
people.
Ooh.
How long was that speech?
Racine was pretty was pretty lengthy.
What if 30 people like, girl, we
That's
we got-
probably why y'all. That's probably why they not getting speeches. This
What they like, girl, there's 28 other people.
No, they are.
Anyway,
Just
I'm
saying.
sorry, Rixie. When you're not
We
here,
love
we
you,
talk
Racine.
about you.
We slay.
All right. So, of course, the Douglas Says Fashion Show, March 30th. I've already told y'all we're going. We're going to figure it out. It's 3 p.m.
Wait a minute.
And if you don't know, Douglas does Luciera. He and Luciera are close.
Lucienda. Let's say it correctly.
No, it's Luciera.
Luciera.
It's
Is Luciera?
Sierra, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So, she's the Miss Universe coach, and she will be in that show probably.
Yeah, she's in his
Yeah,
show every
she
year.
will.
Every year, so we will be there. It's
Every
gonna be a
year.
fierce show.
So-
And Tracy Africa.
The beautiful thing is that this show starts at 3, so we can make it.
might see
I could
some.
see the show and make it back in time.
I'm going.
Hopefully,
I want to
hopefully.
go. I want to go. But
We
can
might
I,
have to get on an Amtrak or something.
yeah, I might have to take
But
a
can I
train.
say really quickly, on March the 24th, we are celebrating the legendary Alley Cat Blues
Oh, okay.
birthday at
Yes.
Mr. Henry's, and I did not get to
Is that a
slide to your
Sunday?
time. That's a Sunday.
Oh, we'll show that flyer
And
next week, but we're
yes,
gonna
we're
push
gonna
that
have
out.
it next week. But it's important to come out and celebrate Alley
Yes.
Cat.
Okay,
Alley
well, I'm
Cat has
coming.
been a
I'm coming.
staple
I'm
in
coming
this
because I haven't
community.
been yet.
She has been a staple in this community. She has assisted every young drag entertainer.
She has.
Yeah.
That has come up in the community, especially the African American
She
ones.
has.
So it's important that
So
we
we
come
want to
out
make
and
sure you
support
come
that.
and pack the house for that.
Yes,
March
pack the house.
24th, right?
March 24th at
Okay,
Mr.
all right.
Henry's.
What else we got? We got A Passion for Living, April 2nd. I'm on the board of us helping us. This is going to be a really great event.
Girl, it's on a Tuesday.
It's the Tuesday evening.
I got
That's
class.
right. All right.
Unfortunately, I
From
won't be able to
6:30
make
to
it.
9:30.
I have class.
Oh,
Class
okay.
starts at 5:30 and ends at
You
8:20.
can still make a sizable donation.
Uh-huh.
It's a fundraiser.
Oh,
Tickets are only $150. I already got your
Yeah,
names
they're
on the
only
list.
$150
on the guest list?
No, on the list to get tickets.
Oh, I don't
okay.
pay for the. I'm a VIP,
Okay.
But it's a fundraiser.
and you need a VIP at your party,
we got plenty of VIPs.
but not Miss What the Fuck.
Not Miss What the
But
Fuck.
we want you to come as Tony Nelson.
Tony Nelson's VIP too.
well,
I'm Tony Nelson right here. What are you trying to say?
We're gonna talk about this.
What are you trying to say?
I see $1,000 on your back. Look
Yes,
at
you
it.
do. Yes, you do. That's why I don't have 150 because it's on my back and my feet. And you know I'm going to get my grill done.
Oh my God. It's so hard to get our people to squeeze their penny, baby. Anyway.
Bless God, amen.
So anyway, April 2nd, mark your calendars. You will see, we'll be posting it. It's going to be a really nice event. This is our signature event for the year, so hopefully you folks can come out. Us Helping Us is one of the it's probably one of the oldest aid service organizations started by Black gay men to support the services.
Very important. Are they talking about this guy, this young man, the second person who they feel like they've cured AIDS?
I've heard it. I haven't heard the full details on it, which is why I haven't talked about it.
I'm going to send you the link.
Okay, because I've seen some study about the second person that has projectedly been cured of AIDS.
He was full blown
right,
AIDS.
Cured of AIDS, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
They had given him something
in the UK
that treated also. He had a
genotherapy.
He had a heart issue, and so it was a combination of some medicines that they don't usually use, and so they're trying to figure out if it was the overlapping of those, because it was HIV treatment and this heart medicine.
Right.
Supposedly. I heard
That's
that story,
amazing.
so I haven't gotten the full details. So I'm curious to see what happens. All right.
I've always said I believe that there's a cure out there.
Oh, I think
that-
the vaccine is definitely coming.
That,
If
people are trying to make coins.
If they don't kill it. But go ahead.
Somebody
Yeah,
said,
they're gonna.
Tony, do you remember
know,
Woo
this
Woo?
is-
I do know Woo Woo.
Yes,
of course
Woo Woo.
I know Woo Woo. The legendary Miss Woo Woo.
Yes, everybody remembers Woo Woo.
All right, so real quick, y'all. Racine's got an April mixer.
Is it for
Do we have that?
lesbians? Is it for straight people?
I
What
don't
is it
know.
for?
What's with the lollipop? That's cute image, Racine. That's
looks
April-
soulful.
It's very suggestive.
She
April
looks
18th. Join host for icebreaker games and more for people aged 21 and over. Okay, that's very ambiguous, but
It's a lot of fun. I've been to one.
Okay, all right. We're gonna say
Hey,
hey,
Devon.
Racine. Hey, Devon. Yes, I haven't talked to him in a while. And then, of course, y'all, we got the Swerv Model Contest.
Yes.
So we're still pushing this out. April 15th is. Hey, Richard. April 15th is the deadline.
Ooh,
All types, sizes, colors, you name it, are welcome.
Bring it.
You just got to be what?
Cute.
Said that
Fierce.
last time.
You have to be fierce.
Fierce.
Oh, so let's talk about, since we're in this section
You gotta
right
be
here.
Fierce.
You got to be
Fierce.
cute.
Right, yeah. Well, cute helps, but fierce.
Fierce.
Cute gets you
Hey,
in the
Richard
door.
Peltzer,
Yes.
one of my I love Richard Peltzer.
I've been lobbied for the model contest
Have
by some
you?
people. Ian had a model he lobbied for, and a
Okay,
couple other
that's
people.
cute.
I was like,
Y'all better lobby for the people.
I'm going to join. I'm going to be in the
I've had
model
some
contest.
inbox-
A lot of the
some
straight
inboxes.
kids, a lot of the straight models for him were like, "Oh, do I have to be gay to
Boo,
be?"
no, you don't
And I
have to
was
be
like,
gay.
No, you just got to be
Just
what?
fierce. So this is not on the lineup, but it has been officially announced this week that another gay club in Washington, D.C. will be closing.
Which one?
No,
Well,
it-
it's officially closed.
It's closed.
What's closed?
Cobalt. Cobalt is now.
Cobalt is closing.
Cobalt. No, it's closed.
It's closed.
Oh my God, I didn't know
Past
that.
tense. It's closed.
It closed.
Because they had talked about it closing
Nope.
for years, and then they
She's
renovated
gone.
the place.
She's
It's
gone.
over.
Did they
So-
ever renovate it?
Oh,
Because that
yeah.
bathroom back there always
Oh
smelled
no,
like a sewer.
Cobalt. They renovated, put up new monitors, a whole bar. Because I had
That back bathroom always smelled like a sewer.
So you know what
All the
this,
clubs have
this
bad bathrooms.
reminded me of Racine's article. There goes the neighborhood.
Oh yeah, but the neighborhood's gone.
Yeah. So my interest.
Buns is closed.
Yeah,
The
Buns is now
Mill,
closed.
The Delta.
Well, you know, I have a theory about all of this. May I share?
please do, please do.
I feel that, I mean, no shade to that side of the tracks, but they were on the radio, on Facebook, going all in. Oh, these are our jobs and all this stuff. Child, please. Clubs have closed on me all my entire career.
Right.
I mean, every other day I'm at one club
You
a
open
day and it
something up.
closed. Something else opens up.
Right.
Calm down. That nothing stays
Forever.
But the neighborhoods transition.
Neighborhoods
Right.
transition,
The land-
people move
the-
in,
the
people
land in
move
those
out.
areas has
I mean, I'm not
become-
saying I'm happy that it closed. I'm not saying that.
Right.
And I get it, but people have to understand. How many? I worked at the Mill for 15 years. 15 years. I was the longest running MC at the
Oh,
Mill.
wow.
People
Okay.
don't realize that. History, people. History.
Tony,
History.
you're a legend anyway. just in general.
Well, yes.
And a
But-
VIP.
But what I'm saying is, and all of a sudden, the Mill closed on me 3 times.
Not once, not
Not
twice,
once,
but
3 times. Remingtons. I'm up at Remingtons. We were turning for 5 years. We came one day, the doors was locked.
Oh, wow.
Ziegfeld's closed and came back.
He came back.
But even in New York, Langston,
Town is now closed.
Langston's is closed in New York.
I say that to say, you walk in a door, and to walk in a door to walk back out, you're going to walk through it.
Sure.
And when you walk through it, you open yourself. You can't stay stuck in life.
Mm-hmm.
That's the key. Don't get stuck. Be flexible. Be ready to keep it moving.
But you know what happens though is the areas get gentrified, and that land becomes too valuable for it to just be a nightclub. You know, it's more lucrative for it to be some high-end residence. And so where there's a void, there's an opportunity. So this is an opportunity for someone to open up other clubs.
And let's just keep it real. The kids don't know how to get in their cars and go home quietly. They don't, and those good white people that just bought them houses up there, they be giving they're making too much noise.
Right, yeah.
We don't like the street noise.
Right. Well,
you know what it's giving.
But part of it really is that the land is just valuable.
It's too valuable, and that's what happens.
And the area, the neighborhood has changed.
And that's what's happening in Atlanta. When they said the rent was going
Bulldogs
up,
is supposed
I said,
to be,
watch all them
think
clubs in
Bulldogs is
Atlanta.
gonna be closed.
All those clubs in Atlanta going to start closing, just like DC, because it's developers would rather build a condo or an office building when they can rent to 50 people versus a club in a warehouse. Would you get? You might get your rent today, and it might be closed.
I mean, it's
tomorrow.
just too valuable. If anything, it'll be a restaurant, but it'll be condos. Residents. But
every time they leave out of Mr. Henry's on Sundays, I always have to remind them, y'all, when y'all leave out this club, y'all know y'all on the hill. Please shut the fuck up. Excuse my language.
But Mr. Henry's that's a different animal.
But they don't know. But that drags, y'all going out there, y'all drunk, y'all carrying on. Shut the fuck up and get in your car, go home.
The people on the hill come and eat.
So we have Ziegfeld's. God only knows how long that's gonna be there. We have
because I mean they've renovated that whole area. I mean, this is in Washington D.C.
What else?
It was like an industrial park, and now they put a soccer stadium over there.
Oh yeah, the soccer stadium is beautiful.
They got all this new stuff coming up over there. It's just a matter of time before
opened up at Ziegfeld's.
When that building goes up, the new building goes up across the street. That's done.
They asked me to come over to host the shows at Ziegfeld's, and you know my thought was, I'll ride this train till the wheels fall off.
No.
I'm not saying don't ride all the rides. I'm not saying that.
I know you're not, but I'm saying these kids need to understand that. Just get your coins. Ride your coin. Get your coins.
Well, there's another opportunity.
So we have the fireplace is still left.
For now, right.
For now.
Ziegfeld's is still left.
Right.
For now.
Right. And then there's, what is that, 9? But I don't go down there.
What's 9?
Isn't that open?
But that's not.
We have
Nelly's is closing too.
The Eagle
Nelly is closing.
The Eagle is not closing.
I heard the Eagle is for sale though.
No. What they explained, they said they want to sell the building, but they want to
keep the lease. They want to get a lease.
Want to keep the lease of the building.
Right.
They want to keep the lease, but they don't want to own the actual property.
Okay, gotcha.
Which happens all the time.
So, but it's happening around the country because Langston's is closed in Brooklyn. He's had some challenges. He's been forced to close.
Ella will continue to do hair at the salon. That's what she'll do.
Ella will be fine.
She'll be all right. She'll be all right.
Or she'll go get a brunch. She'll go dance and shake and go, hey, at somebody's brunch. She'll be fine. Hey, I got eggs. No onions.
What's interesting it's interesting that you said that because brunches have become the new thing.
That's what I said. But that's my whole point. You have to allow things to fade out so new things can come in. You just have to. That's the circle of life. Yeah. So I'm over it. All right. This next question I really want to talk about.
We got 2 minutes to talk about.
Go ahead.
So we try to find a topic to talk about. So it's a little campy, but. So who you think is going to be the first one?
Can I tell you who I want to go first?
Who you want to go first?
Wait a minute. Let's tell who they are. So that's Eric.
That's What's the son-in-law.
No. To the left.
Kushner. Who is Eric?
Left to right.
Eric is the first one to the left.
No.
Who is he?
That's Trump's son. He's the second son.
That's the dumb one.
Well, they claim he's the dumb one, but New Jersey's governor, he said actually he's the smart one. He said the dumb one is Junior.
Right?
Well,
Junior's the dumb one.
The favorite, of course, is Ivanka. And then Kushner, her husband.
I think
who is so gay. He's so gay.
Here's my bets.
You want to bring that back up? Bring that up. Bring that back up, Jacob. All right, who y'all think is going?
It's my prayer. It's my prayer. And call me a sexist. Call me what you want. I want them to throw that hoe in jail so bad. Number 3. Door number 3, you are going to jail.
Who do you think is
but I think it's going to be Kushner. They're going to all turn on his ass.
I think Kushner's going to be second. I think they're going to get Junior first because
They're gonna sacrifice
because
Kushner
of those
for him.
conversations.
We got two more minutes.
Because of those conversations that happened,
You think it's gonna be Junior?
that Trump orchestrated for him to all of that's out.
Right.
So understand, I think that he's gonna be the
think it's
first.
gonna be
Kushner, they gonna get. Oh, they gonna get.
They
that
gonna
baby.
turn
Oh, they gonna
Kushner
get
in.
it.
Well, let me say
and then
this.
they gonna get Ivanka.
But let me say this. I think Junior's going to go first, right? I think
Junior's gonna go
he's going to go
first.
first, and Trump's going to have a conniption.
A conniption,
But
that's
then I think they're going to get Kushner
Kushner second, right.
They're going to come after him so
Yeah.
heavy that he is going to turn,
I think so.
and he's going to then trade in that wife,
Baby.
and that other
All
one.
y'all got
and
to
I
go.
think it's done.
It's over.
Because I think he's not going to
Yeah,
jail.
Because
I think-
he's a homosexual, I think.
He is a homosexual, and his father. His family his father
allegedly.
was not friendly with.
I said,
Trump
I
and
think.
them.
No.
Oh, you think? Okay.
I said,
weren't-
no.
but-
He said that he
But
is.
Kushner's family was not that fond.
and you know,
of
there's a
Trump.
reason why they always kept him off the microphone. Did y'all know? Have you ever heard him talk?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it sounds like
Yeah, he does. He does. Did
like
you see
Tiny
that?
Tim.
He talks like
He did
this.
an interview with Van Jones,
I
and
was
that's
like,
when
girl.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that's the reason why they've kept him off the microphone. It's like, hi, how you doing?
But I
He's-
think
he's
he's
pure.
I think
He
once
got flowers falling out.
but I think he's going to turn. I'm telling you, I think he's going to turn before he goes to jail. He's going to turn state's evidence. and turn
Child,
his
something
ear.
got to happen. Something got to give. The levee has to break.
It's coming.
because I've
It's-
just got
But
a
you know what?
headache.
This
It's
is
coming.
This,
So
is,
one more
this
minute,
the key,
y'all.
y'all. I don't honestly and truthfully. I'm gonna tell you.
My
the
sister
truth.
said. My sister
I
just
don't
wanted to say, I
think-
want to fight Ivana.
I'm gonna tell. I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. I honestly think that we're gonna wind up.
Go to jail.
We're gonna finish. We're gonna finish off this term
He gonna
with,
get
with
elected
him in office. None of this is. We're not gonna see any of this come to a
well,
halt.
It took Nixon 2 terms.
But you
They
know
got
that-
Nixon in his
But you know
second
what they're
term.
saying is that he's sort of immune while he's in office, especially with the New York stuff. But once he's not in office,
Click it,
they
click it.
can.
Yeah,
You better
but I
pray.
do. I want them to take down them kids. I want them to get them.
Oh, but they can get them now though.
Yeah, I want Junior to go first. Then I want Kushner, and like you said, I think Kushner going to turn state
Kushner's
evidence.
going to turn state evidence. He's not
and then,
going to jail.
And then that wife,
And then he's going to turn all.
and all the rest of them
Kushner
gonna go
got
in.
some good.
Kushner got tapes. He ain't stupid. He got tapes. He got the whole nine. Once he
Baby, he didn't watch the other. What's the lawyer? He didn't watch the lawyer. He be like, oh, they didn't go. Wait, I'm waiting.
because he know they're going to turn on it.
You know they
Arnold
gonna
said
come
Don Jr. going first.
Oh, Don Jr. is going
Arnold,
first.
you might be right.
And Trump's
but
gonna
I-
let him go to
but
jail.
I'm hoping Ivanka go first.
Wait,
I
y'all.
can't stand that.
Because
hoe.
you know that's his pride and joy. Because
Jacob,
if
how
she
we
go,
on
he
time?
gonna crumble.
How are we on time, Jacob? All right, we're gonna wrap it up. All right, y'all.
This was fun.
So we'll talk about this next week and see
My
what's going
sister
on.
just said, please give me just one piece of Ivanka. She gonna fight her head.
But no shade though. I will say this though.
She lies
I
like
will
a
say
rug,
this.
baby.
She comes through pulled though. You
Oh,
can't.
she is all done
you
up.
You can't.
I
come
don't
pulled.
see
But
it.
the other
She
thing-
comes pulled.
I don't
the
see
But the
it.
other
She comes
thing,
full.
the other thing to consider,
I don't
is
see it.
That mother, the mother, is not going
Oh,
to let
Kushner's mother?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Ivanka's mother.
Ivana.
Oh, Ivanka's mother?
is not going to let that daughter go down. She will tell some other stuff that she's got to negotiate.
You think
She's
she got
not-
some stuff?
Of course she does.
Oh yes, you do.
She's not letting that daughter go down. Trust me. She may let the mother go, but she ain't letting that daughter go down.
I just
Right.
want to see her go to jail so bad because she just makes her. I'm gonna tell you who makes my
Tell us
ass.
how you really feel.
Who makes my ass ache? Her and every last one of them damn Kardashians. They make my
Oh,
ass ache.
we can talk about them later. I mean, you make a sex tape and then you're multi-billionaires, but that's
Hey,
All
you
right,
can't
y'all.
read the hustle.
Thank you. Look for the March-April issue with Shaka Khan
I
on the
said it.
cover. We want to say good night. Thank you for
And
joining.
don't, don't forget the Spotlight column will debut.
Oh yes,
in
Spotlight.
March.
Yes.
Spotlight.
And
All right.
and yes, if you
That
didn't
was the
like
name
it,
of our
I
first
said
birthday
it.
party.
It was.
I said it all.
He said, I said it. I said what I
said it.
said.
Bye, y'all. See y'all
I
next
said
week.
What I
I
said. Y'all have a good night.
Listen vision, listen vision. DC's #1 recording studio. Oh.